Well, I had all day to do it, so. I had that too. I did other stuff. I washed my whole house over the weekend. I'll probably be missing some time in July. I'm gonna wind up with surgery.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the East Dubuque City Council meeting. It is Monday, June 2nd. I ask that you please turn your cell phones off during the meeting and please be quiet during discussions. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 25-0601, call to order.
Bergmeyer,
Here.
Dagenhart,
Aye.
Fleur,
Here.
Meyer, Roby, Taylor,
Here.
Mayor Digman,
Here.
Attorney Hess. Here.
25-0602, staff reports, city manager report.
So update on the Highway 35 project, it is underway, the water main. We've included an update for you from WHKS. It should be 2 to 3 more weeks of work to run that water main. We have applied for a DOT local grant. This was something I think we had a window of about 10 days to get an application in, and it was an online application process, and the deadline was yesterday. So we put in for a $6.2 million grant that would basically be the first phase of a $12.8 million total project to reduce or eliminate the threat of flooding in the city. So the first phase involves primarily the ditch. It would rebuild the ditch, rebuild the walls, take care of the sinkholes, all those kind of things, potentially widen it and increase its capacity by realigning the 72-inch culvert that runs along the bottom of it. As folks know, that culvert crosses over the ditch and creates essentially a dam, which reduces greatly the capacity of the ditch. So by realigning that on one side of the ditch, we'll be able to increase capacity of the ditch, replace the bridges on the ditch, and that'll allow us to reverse the course of stormwater on Wall Street. Right now, the water from Montgomery and Wall from about the bank to First Street all flows down to First Street, and as everybody knows, that's where the water seems to accumulate and flood. There is a culvert that runs under the railroad tracks there, but it seems that is not sufficient to the task. So the plan is to reverse the course of that stormwater so that when it exceeds the capacity of the current culvert, it'll take the water to the ditch, utilizing the expanded capacity. Then we've got 3 culverts in the flats at basically 2nd Street, that run through the levee in 3 different holes. Those are, we've been informed basically by the Army Corps of Engineers that we need to inspect it, and they're in such bad shape that they can hardly be inspected. So we want to consolidate those to one culvert and bring that culvert, instead of flowing through the levee, bring it back to the ditch. That will eliminate a pumping location and in flooding times. And then there's the potential to bring other water in the flats on the other side of 3rd Street, potentially to the ditch. So we should be able to increase and potentially increase the capacity necessary in the pumps. So this $6.2 million should have if we would get the grant, which it's a $400 million of funds available statewide, and this falls within the purpose of the grant pretty well. And so we made our case, and if it works out, we'll be able to, I think, make a marked improvement in both the capacity and drying out both the flats and the downtown business district, and take care of the issues that we all know exist in the ditch. So you've got basically the narrative that we sent in. It's slightly different because it had to be inputted online and had to meet their requirements for size and things like that. But that's essentially the arguments we made. Update on the First Street parking lot. The attorneys have had an initial conversation with the railroad regarding terms of lease and things like that. No progress to report as of yet, but we've got a plan in place to be able to, for them to be able to share information and hopefully come to a quick conclusion on that will give us the option, give us our options for that parking lot. Oxford Street, we've got 2 more temporary easements to be signed, and then that project is ready to begin. Everything else is ready, waiting for the contractor. Indian Hills, essentially the same situation, a few more easements to be signed there, but it's become, I think, now that people in Indian Hills understand the project, we've gotten good support up there for it, and no one has said they wouldn't sign the easements. It's just a matter of getting a hold of them and getting the easement signed. Otherwise, the project up there is all ready to go. So that is my report.
Thank you. I just have a few thank yous to shout out. First of all, I'd like to thank Joan Sanders, Kathy Akela, Nancy Newmeister, Catherine Kelly, and our Public Works Department for taking care of the flower planters. They look fantastic. Next, I'd like to thank Jeff Klein and the American Legion for a great parade that they put on. It was a great event, looked well tended. And then finally, I'd like to commend our Public Works Director, Tony Van Ostren, on rescuing that fawn out of the storm sewer up there on Hiawatha. That was great work. That is my report. Alderperson report. Bergmeyer.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Thank you. Degenhardt.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you and Bob for being in the parade. That was really nice that both of you be in there to show the people you're here.
Well, thanks for your work and thanks for your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Fluor.
I was wondering, do you think we can get the drinking on the streets down on this end of the main street for these bars down here? You know what I'm saying?
Not really.
Well, like up there by Mike's, they got where you can drink on the streets and take your alcohol on the street, right? No?
During cruising?
With the
mean, or
on Thursday night
cruising Thursday nights?
It should be set up that way.
down here?
Yeah, it should be on both sides of the street now.
Okay. Well, they were either that or somebody got confused that it was just for up at Mike's place on Thursday. So
'Cause-
they can.
So here's the deal. It wasn't clarified in the special events permit that it would be allowed like we used to do. It was always allowed on that side of the street.
Okay,
So I think if maybe just redo the special events permit and just have them include the sidewalks on both sides of the street.
that's easy.
That's what we always used to do.
Yeah, I remember it used to be,
But now I think everybody just takes it, but if state comes in and says, you're outside the boundaries,
okay,
you're done. So I think maybe just resubmit the permit and have it outlined more exclusively for down here as much as it is up there.
yeah, I mean, because it used to be, you could come out of any of these bars and carry a beverage down the street
As long as you stayed on the side.
on the sidewalk, yep,
Right.
okay. Yeah, we can get that.
Okay, I was just, people were confused on that. I'm like, I'll check into it.
That's an easy fix.
All right, that should be it for me.
Thank you. Roby?
I have nothing.
Okay, thank you. Taylor?
Nothing.
Thank you. City Attorney Hess?
The mayor requested that we determine whether or not there were any city ordinances that would either restrict, prohibit, or otherwise restrain 18 to 21-year-olds from serving as bartenders in licensed establishments here in the city of East Dubuque. And we did a review of the case law, Illinois statutes, and city ordinances, and we see nothing that would adversely impact the ability of an 18 to 21-year-old to be a bartender until closing time. There was initial concern that one of our statutes under loitering, which is 3-3-19, might adversely impact that. However, there's a specific exemption that actually applies, and that states that persons under the age of 21 may enter the premises serving alcoholic liquor for a lawful purpose in connection with their trade, occupation, or profession, but may not loiter there beyond the time reasonably required for their pursuit of their lawful trade, occupation, or profession. So that would encompass anyone employed at that establishment, that they're allowed to stay there until their shift ends or they clean up, and then they would be required to leave. So our opinion was that persons between 18 and 21 can work as bartenders.
Yeah, there was a lot of questions about that, and basically we're following state law. State law allows 18-year-olds to do it, and I felt it was important to clarify this. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a letter out to all the license holders that will state where we're at on this, and then it'll also remind them to have everybody get certified with their Bassett training. So that letter will be going out.
Should we include a letter every year with the licensing? Because some of these places are changing hands. Should we include a letter every year stating that this is allowed by state law?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a good idea.
And along with that, the Bassett training and the
Right,
other requirements
right.
that they have, the insurance notification and,
Right.
yep,
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yep.
yep.
Anything else?
No, that's it, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Police Chief Kovacic? Thank you. Public Works Director Van Ostren?
Nothing.
Thank you. Fire Chief Heim?
We had Carolyn Cheston here. She was not able to be here in January when we swore in our other person, so the city attorney and Carolyn will come up.
The following oath is to be taken by all members. I, the undersigned member of the East Dubuque Fire Company, do hereby accept the foregoing constitution and investment of our company. I will attend all meetings if within my power, obey our superior officers, and promote the interests of the company to the best of my ability. If you so swear, say I do. Congratulations.
You need to sharpen the pen, Joe.
I guess so. Then we'll have a blood trail.
Exactly.
So this certifies that emergency medical technician Caroline Sheston has been duly appointed to the position of emergency medical technician for the City of East Dubuque Fire Department. Your dedication to the job, the city, and the residents you serve, skill with which you have shown in your ability as a probationary emergency medical technician makes you deserving of the title of emergency medical technician. Out here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, 25-0603, speakers from the floor. We do have one this evening, Delbert Belkin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank you and on behalf of the American Legion, you and Bob Sykes and Randy Dagenhart for being in the parade last week. Also, last week, Wednesday, we had the Joe Carroll annual meeting up here in East Dubuque, and it's the second time that I can remember being there. And Mayor Digman was there, and he did all right for himself. Second of all, the last meeting I was here, I didn't get a chance to thank the mayor and city council on that for the years I had the privilege of serving with them. And it's been a privilege and an honor. Thank you.
Thanks, Delbert.
Thanks, Delbert.
Delbert.
I also wanted to point out, Councilmember Roby was also in the parade. Oh,
I didn't see that part.
yeah.
Although she didn't share the saltwater taffy with everybody.
Yeah.
I was sharing it with everybody, Bob. Jeez.
All right, 25-0604, consent agenda.
Still move.
Second.
Roll call.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Meyer. Roby.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
New business, 25-0605, discussion and possible action to approve payment of request for reimbursement made by Colby's Corporation pursuant to ordinance number 25-0426, encouraging replacement of sidewalks adopted by mayor and the city council of the city of East Dubuque on April 14th, 2025, in the amount up to the actual cost of concrete used for replacement in the city of East Dubuque.
So these are the costs for the public sidewalks, just the concrete costs themselves. And so I am supporting that as a TIF expenditure.
Any questions or discussion? If not, can we get a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Twenty-five 0606, discussion and possible action to approve commercial facade improvement award to Miss Hides in the city of East Dubuque.
So we finally have a full-on facade grant request, and it's from our newest business on Sinsinawa. So we just welcome them. And so I took out the part for the concrete patio in the back, which is not, in my judgment, a part of the facade. And so I'm recommending approval. At 50% of the cost for the other.
I'll make a motion to approve the commercial facade improvement for Miss Hyde's.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Fleur,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Dagenhart.
25-0607, discussion and possible action to approve resolution to authorize an amendment to intergovernmental agreement for the operation of an enterprise zone in the city of East Dubuque.
So this is an enterprise zone that the city of East Dubuque belongs to. We have not, in my time or as I recall prior to that, actually had a business utilize this program. What it is tax incentives from the state at the state level for distressed areas and things like that to encourage development from the state area. And so by virtue of our membership in this enterprise zone, a business expanding in East Dubuque has the palette of tax incentives for their investment in a business. Now, it comes with strings attached, and there it doesn't. So it doesn't fit every project. It doesn't fit most projects that we would have, but it is something. It is a tool that can be used when it's appropriate. So that's why we're in the program. Every time there's an expansion of the area, a business has to be within the enterprise zone in order to receive the tax incentives from the state level. And so in order to be in the enterprise zone, they have to be approved by all the communities in the enterprise zone. We are one of those local governments. So we've seen this in the past a few times, that every time, so this is an expansion of the zone to, I believe it's 104 acres of property that will receive this $6.9 million investment from this business. So we don't directly benefit from the investment, but if we got an investment like this, we would have the opportunity to look at that. So when the county, for instance, economic development people are talking to a business coming in, or we can mention this as a potential for us. But in this case, it expands the zone to cover the 104 acres and allow the investment to come into this community. So,
Any questions or discussion? If not, can we have a motion?
A motion.
Second it.
Roll call?
Roby,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Dagenhart,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
25-0608, discussion and possible action to approve an ordinance amending boundaries of the joint Northwest Illinois Certified Enterprise Zone in the city of East Dubuque.
so the first one was authorizing the amendment of the agreement, and this is authorizing the change in the actual footprint of the zone to cover it. So same issues.
Any questions or discussion? If not, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Taylor,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Dagenhart,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
25-0609, discussion and possible action to approve resolution authorizing initiation of bidding for the City of East Dubuque Emergency Services addition and renovation project in the City of East Dubuque.
We are finally here. It seems like a long time coming, but we are ready to go to bid for the construction, reconstruction, restoration of the buildings here and for our emergency services building. This all falls within the amounts that we've discussed in the past. Last meeting, we had the architect in talking about the design for an update on that. And during this process, which is about a 4 to 5 week process before the bid awards in the beginning of July, there will be an opportunity for the contractor that won the masonry portion to get in, hopefully get in and get out, to open up the footprint for staging for whoever wins the bid process. So up to now, we've done estimates for dogs and cats on this project. This is the formal bid process, which will go through the whole normal bidding process, bid meetings, bid openings, and all that. So it's the technical bid process. It is a prevailing wage project, which is noted in there. And so I would encourage support.
Any questions or discussion? If not, I'm going to have a motion to approve.
So move. Second.
Roll call.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Twenty-five 0610, discussion and possible action to approve resolution authorizing execution for the sale of surplus municipal property in the city of East Dubuque.
This is the culmination of a goal of mine since the first week that I started here, and I'm so proud. I've almost got a tear in my eye. We have cases of map tubes in the closet back here, taking up most of the space of the closet. There are hundreds of them, and we have not used one of those in the time that I've been here, I don't believe. And so we are putting them up for sale and hopefully opening up space in our closet back here. If anybody needs map tubes, they are good for maps. They are good for other large legal documents. They can be used for arts and crafts. Children can talk through them. There's a lot of uses for these, and I would encourage support for this.
Any questions or discussion?
I have a question. Our zoning maps, how are they being stored? Because I know when they were back here, they were just all over the place. There was none in tubes. There was a cabinet, but
We have some in tubes right now.
We do.
So we do have almost a box full that is being used.
so did they do that before they took the rest of the stuff down to, is it Area 1 where they're at?
It's out at Area 3, French's Side.
Area 3.
Area 51, actually.
That's where all the cabinets are, and that's where the other maps are.
Are the maps in something, or are they just,
They're in the drawers that used to be.
okay.
So we may keep a
I
couple.
just thought before we got rid of everything, if we needed some, we should probably check it out.
Well, we do have a few maps in here that we may
Okay.
shove in there.
There's
But
more room in those drawers, we can take them out there.
Oh, okay.
Any further discussion or questions? If not, we have a motion.
So move. Second.
Roll call.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Bergmeyer.
Aye.
Congratulations, Bob.
thank you.
25 0611, discussion and possible action to approve estimates for street crack filling and confirm city manager's recommendation for award of same in the city of East Dubuque.
So this is, I think, as we've discussed in the past, filling cracks in the streets is the best way to preserve our transportation system and get the most life out of the streets. So filling the cracks prevents water from getting in, freezing, and expanding the cracks and breaking up the roads. These are the low estimates. Tony?
This includes, they're only going to do 6th Street and Hill Street. Those are the only salvageable roads for crack filling.
So when Tony says that there are streets that are too far gone. They are not going to get worse at a great rate, but those are the ones we have to address with mill and fill. But if we address the newer ones and the better ones right away, we can keep them from kind of falling off the cliff. And they get worse fast if they're not treated.
So Tri-State's estimate, that includes both.
Yes, both of them include both 6th Street and Hill Street for approximate of 5,300 linear feet.
Okay. Any questions or discussion?
Tony, on Tri-State paving, the last sentence, crack filling does not include. What does that mean?
The alligator areas, like the cracks in the road that, you see the chunks that are 5-6 inches.
Down here on
Yeah.
Main Street.
They look like the back of an alligator.
Yeah, it's just all cracked up.
Okay.
So if we're waiting, I'll motion to approve.
You gotta pick
You
somebody.
gotta pick someone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here's your estimates right here.
I'd recommend Tri-State
I got it.
a little bit.
I thought we were just talking. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve Tri-State paving for the street crack filling.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Fleur,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Degenhardt.
Aye.
25-0612, discussion and possible action to approve notice of award to Temperley Excavating Incorporated in the amount of $1,348,189,050 for the sewer extension project.
So this is the the Indian Hills project. As you know, this is the low estimate that we got, or low bid we got from them. And both this one and the next one, there's not paper behind it because we're waiting for the paper from the state. But this would allow us to get moving on the projects as soon as those documents come in.
So when we approved this before, that was just an intent, right? to
Right.
approve.
It had to go to the state. And
Okay.
Any questions or discussion?
Second?
Roll call?
Roby,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Degenhardt,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
25-0613, discussion and possible action to approve notice of award to Louis Trenching Services Incorporated in the amount of $1,148,130.70 for the Oxford Street project in the city of East Dubuque.
same issue as the previous one. We've been through the bid process on this, and it's the low bid. And we've actually already voted on it in the past.
Any questions or discussion? If not, we have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the notice of award to Louis Trenching in the amount of $1,148,130.70 for the Oxford Street project.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Taylor,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Degenhardt,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Roby.
Aye.
25-0614, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Degenhardt,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Yep. I'll stick around.